I'm still recovering from my lost voice from a few days ago, so please excuse the ongoing raspiness. So I just finished up a continuing education course that was put out by this really brilliant naturopathic doctor. His name's Dr. Preet Kangura, and he practices in British Columbia, and he lectures a lot about small intestine bacterial overgrowth and related topics. So I try to keep abreast of, up-to-date research and just learning from other docs as much as I can. And he put out this really fantastic, worked out to be, I think, an 8.5 hour continuing education course about SIBO and related digestive issues. So I just finished that up. And one of the things that he talked about is a topic that I really don't hear a lot of other clinicians talk about. I've lectured on it a little bit over the course of time, and I've seen it in my practice a little bit, but it's not a very common issue to my understanding, but it's something that I thought might be of interest to folks who are dealing with chronic digestive issues. So it's a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI for short, and basically that means that kind of breaking that down, so exocrine pancreatic meaning the exocrine portion of the pancreatic function compared as opposed to its endocrine function, which has to do with blood sugar regulation. The exocrine pancreas is where the digestive enzymes are produced, and if there's an insufficiency of that exocrine pancreatic productivity, then essentially there's just not enough digestive enzymes to break down the food, and then that can lead to a lot of digestive symptoms like gas and bloating, and oftentimes it's associated with diarrhea, but not always, and it can be associated with constipation, maybe normal bowel function. And so with EPI, again, quite a rare condition to my understanding, but for folks who have it, they might have the following characteristics. So one characteristic, aside from gas and bloating, would be having gas and bloating from even foods that are generally not highly fermentable foods. So some foods like high FODMAP foods, grains, simple sugars, things like that, like they're usually fairly easily fermentable, i.e. turned into gas by the microbes in the gastrointestinal tract. But there are certain foods that are really don't commonly cause those types of symptoms. So if patients are getting a lot of gas from like just any type of food, it's a possible clue they might have exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. It's not a guarantee that they do, but it's something that goes higher up on the differential diagnosis list in terms of what might be going on with their gut issues. Another clue that there might be an exocrine pancreatic insufficiency is if everything else that has been that might reasonably cause digestive issues has been ruled out. So I've had a handful of patients over the course of time where we've treated them thoroughly for SIBO, treated them thoroughly for LIBO, treated them thoroughly for yeast overgrowth. We've treated everything that's come up. We've got them on stomach acid supplementation. We've got them on bile support. We've got them on digestive enzymes, all these different things, and they're still symptomatic. Like they're still having bloating issues, and a case like that may have exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. Now, those of you who are very astutely listening here, or very carefully listening, and who are very astute, might be thinking like, well, wait a minute, if you have them on digestive enzymes, wouldn't that treat the exocrine pancreatic insufficiency? And the answer is no. When there's exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, it's a really severe deficiency in pancreatic enzymes, and the over-the-counter health food store, supplement store enzymes, they aren't strong enough to replicate or make up for what the pancreas isn't producing on its own. Also, to my understanding, the enzymes aren't very stable in the forms they're in, so they get degraded relatively easily. So even though digestive enzymes can be very helpful, I've had hundreds of patients who have significantly benefited from being on digestive enzymes, but folks who have EPI, it's not going to cut it. There are pharmaceutical strength enzymes that are necessary in this type of condition, or that's what's going to work the best. How is EPI? How do you find out if somebody has EPI? It's a fairly simple test. It's something called a stool elastase test. So a stool sample is sent into the lab. They test the elastase levels, and if the levels are too low, then that's indicative or diagnostic of EPI. So again, quite a rare condition, but it's something where if you're listening to this and thinking like, by golly, that sounds like it might be me, worthwhile to consider talking to your clinician about that and just make sure that it's been ruled out, or ask them if they think it's relevant to your case. I hope this information was helpful. If you have any questions about this topic or anything else, just post in the comment section below. I'm going to work on getting my voice back, and I will leave it there for now.